Hey everybody, it's Daniel here from Infovest. Hope you're all doing well. So, interesting article here comes from Bloomberg. Basically says Bank of Canada warns of risk that firms keep raising prices. And this is a very big problem for sure, right? You might have seen, if you live in Canada, the grocery stores, certain grocery stores push up prices. I remember when just recently, I was looking for olive oil. I went to Sobeys. The olive oil was, there's a certain brand I was looking for. It costed around $21. And I was like really shocked, like, wow. I mean, olive oil prices did rise recently because there's a shortage. But then when I go to another grocery store, right, and if I look at, for example, let's say No Frills, they've got the same olive oil for about $15. And I was curious, probably in other grocery stores like Loblaws and so on, might see the same product, but higher prices. And this is what Bank of Canada has been saying. Warrants that, hey, you keep increasing the prices, right? These corporations, these firms, right? Because of greedflation as they call it, we're not going to stop. Bank of Canada is not going to stop. We'll continue to hike rates and hike and push rates higher until those prices come down. And I've been saying this on this channel for a very long time, which people don't understand. The central banks are out there to bring prices back to pre-COVID levels. And if that means putting people out of jobs, a lot of jobs, they will do that. They will hike, right? Because there's people out there in the narrative out there from, maybe sales agents and so on saying that, oh, things will get better. Bank of Canada will cut rates. Economy will be fine. Soft landing. Look, nothing has broken yet. Well, guess what? It takes time for the economy to show the effects of all those tightening. And number two, this greedflation, prices moving up, is not going to cut it for Western central banks out there, because they don't want runaway inflation. If they have runaway inflation, there's no point of having a central bank. Eliminate the central bank. There's no point of it. So they will do everything in their power, right, to go out and hike rates, be aggressive, and maybe it's not going to be Bank of Canada that has to do all the tightening. It might actually be the U.S. Federal Reserve that will have spillover effects in Canada. And if the central bank doesn't do anything, right, and if they're not as hawkish, right, you can't be as hawkish as Volcker because we have more debt than we did back then guess who's going to be doing the tightening? The bond market. Look at the bond market today. The bond market, the yields have been rising and rising and rising. U.S. bond yields just hit 5% also. And that's pulling Canadian bond yields higher. That also creates tightening conditions. That brings mortgage yields higher. And yes, other debt, other loans, those interest rates also go up. Firms are feeling the pinch, the pain, and what are they doing? They're passing that pain, that pinch to the consumers. Until when? Until when? How long can you do that for? Until shit hits the fan. Been saying this 1,000 times. Shit hits the fan. Consumer demand completely plummets. People stop buying, only go for essential items maybe. They maybe even look for substitutes. They cut back on their spending. Maybe instead of, buying every week, they buy every 2 weeks. They can do many things. And you will see that, right? And as things get worse off, consumer demand really depreciates. It affects the whole economy. So when you hear Bank of Canada coming out and saying, warns that, hey, risk that firms keep rising prices, we're not going to stop here, they keep doing that, is basically signaling that they're not out of the woods and in terms of taming inflation, and they're not going to stop until they tame inflation. Very clear signal here. Okay? You know, it's a lot of people out there pushing the narrative that oh, they're not gonna do anything and blah blah blah. No, you don't understand. The thing is, you don't understand the role of the central bank. They're an independent organization. They have nothing to do with the government. They have nothing to do with Trudeau. Okay? They're supposed to be independent. What do they do behind closed doors? Not my business. I don't even know. But legally, they're supposed to be independent. Okay? So, when you look at the central banks, Bank of Canada, U.S. Federal Reserve, they will go out there and they will continue to tighten. And if they don't do the job, guess what? The bond market is going to do the job. Because the bond market is saying, okay, you know, we believe soft landing, let's test it. That's why you're seeing long end yields push, 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 higher, higher, higher. Look at the long end yields on the bond market. They're going higher, they're going higher. And they will push, they will poke, they will poke, they will poke until shit hits the fan. As simple as that. You can check out the article. I'll leave the link in the description for you to read up on it. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, subscribe, hit the like button, bell icon to be notified on the next video. And I'll see you guys around. Cheers. Bye.